Hello, welcome to Rough Cut Film Review. This is a review of Mud. So this is brought to us by Jeff Nichols, the guy who brought us Shotgun Stories and Take Shelter, so a very interesting filmmaker on the go there. Mathew McConaughey continues his streak of making really good films and being absolutely superb in them. His days of making rom-coms seem like a very long time ago, and since then he's gone on to make films like Magic Mike and Killer Joe and a few others as well that were really good, and he was great in them. Here we also have Reese Witherspoon, who is good value, and the two kids, the two protagonists, are played by Tye Sheridan and Jacob Lofland, are absolutely wonderful in this story about growing up. So plot-wise, we're in rural Arkansas, somewhere along the Mississippi. Our two 14-year-old protagonists head out to a small island in the river and find a boat that's become lodged up in a tree. Once they're there, they get into the boat and realise that somebody's been living in there. This turns out to be McConaughey's character called Mud, the title of the film. He's a man on the run. However, instead of turning him in, the two kids hatch a plan to keep him out of the way of the bounty hunters who are on his tail and to reunite him with his long-lost love of his life. Now, the first thing to say really is the film looks beautiful. The cinematography is great, and it captures, like few other films, the mythical essence of childhood that may or may not actually exist in the real world. This very much is our protagonist's story, a wide-eyed and well-intentioned kid being exposed to not only finding out his parents are not perfect, they're deeply flawed individuals, but experiencing heartbreak for the first time and learning that adult life is somehow not as simple as it probably should be, really. In terms of influences, it's difficult to look beyond Stand By Me, and while I haven't seen that film in years, and I really need to see it again to confirm the comparison, but for me, Mud and Stand By Me stand alone together in capturing not just a time of adolescence, but what is probably a sort of intangible feeling of coming of age that may or may not actually exist, but we all get very sentimental about. The film's not perfect. Without giving away spoilers, there are moments of peril in there that for me probably should have been skipped, but ultimately there are bits in here that are so good that being critical of it really makes me feel like a cynical old grump. The acting from the whole cast alone makes this film worth watching, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's not perfect, but it takes you back to this sort of innocent time which may or may not exist, but watching it you get sort of misty-eyed. Kind regards, Christopher Thomas.